Hi everyone, and welcome to Gamerside. If it's Driftwood speaking again, and today I'm very happy to tell you about Death Stranding, the return after a release on PlayStation 4 originally 2 years ago, followed a bit later, a few months later, by a PC version. Death Stranding is back with a Director's Cut edition on PlayStation 5. And this video is meant not to tell you that I loved the original game and that I know that not everybody did, and which is, I think, quite normal considering what the game has to offer. It's really not a game for everyone. And I believe that 2 years after the original release, you already know it by now. And so if you're watching this, it's probably because you're a fan of the original game. Sorry, I said the first. It's not the first. It's not a sequel. It's just a more complete edition. We'll see. And maybe that you never got the chance to play the original game, and that you want to catch up now, and you think that PlayStation 5 is probably the best place to start. And so this video is going to be structured in different parts. I'll focus on the possible visual technical enhancements, let's say, and then I will present all the new features, the new modes you can find in the game, and we'll let you know about my thoughts. Obviously, it's a bit subjective. It's not something that I believe will be shared by everyone, but in a way, I think that a lot of people will probably agree with me on this. Let's say that if you're looking for something completely new and you have already completed the game, it's probably not what you're going to find in this Director's Cut edition. It's not what's been advertised anyway, so I don't think you should act surprised or anything. But it's really something that for me is going to become it became very clear right from the start that most of the things that they added have to be taken as bonuses and not as a way to dive more into the world of Death Stranding. So let's start, and we'll start with the technical side of this new edition. Let's be clear, the original Death Stranding on PlayStation 4 looked gorgeous. I mean, at least from my perspective, the game looked phenomenal. And it didn't look any less impressive when it came out on PC. Now, even today, I believe that Death Stranding is among probably the best looking games out there. You might disagree, and that's okay, but that's my opinion. On PlayStation 5, it's not a big surprise, but we have the choice between two graphics modes. One is called Performance, and it's upscaled 4K with 60 frames per second frame rate, which is, as far as I can tell, pretty solid. I mean, I may have seen a few drops here and there, but it's very, very rare. Now, in the fidelity mode, 4K is native. There are definitely more slowdowns, and even if you have to cope with a few frame drops, the visual quality is a tad better than in the performance mode. Now, that being said, doesn't mean that the game doesn't look crisp when you use the performance mode, which I think you probably should choose, but there is no bad choice really from what I've seen. I took time to play in fidelity mode for the purpose of this video. I had a few issues when going through high grasses, for example. That was something that I noticed. I guess alpha effects are to blame again. But other than that, it was a pretty smooth experience. Some drops also, I guess, when you're riding the bike at high speed. But other than that, it was pretty okay overall. And even though I believe that performance mode is probably the way to go, it's still an option that is nice for those wanting a better image quality overall. Now, maybe what will be disappointing to some is the lack of enhancements other than that, other than frame rate. You're not going to get more details or better textures overall. As far as I can tell, it's the same. Game looks amazing. It still looks amazing with HDR on. So again, it's not to minimize how great the game looks on PlayStation 5, but the big update, the big let's say the main interest here is really the frame rate, especially if you have never played the PC version. Obviously, if you have a PC and you have been able to play Death Stranding on PC, I don't see it's not in the technical part of the game that you're going to find anything that will make you want to put your money down. I'm not saying that you will want to put your money down anyway, considering that the content that they added might not be enough for you. But visually speaking, the PC version is as far as I can say, again, very close to, if not identical to the PS5 version. So 60 FPS makes a big difference for a console player, but I was a bit disappointed by in the way the DualSense has been used. There's nothing to write home about. You have the adaptive triggers for the weapons, but that's more or less all there is to see or to feel, and I think that should have been maybe more impressive. It's all very nice, but this Director's Cut edition is the promise of new content. And as you will probably see very quickly, I don't think they are very essential to the overall experience. I mean, some are fun and pretty cool, I guess, and some people will most certainly like the new additions. But overall, I think it's there are things that we didn't need in the main game, and I will start with the shooting range, in which you can actually use all the weapons you have unlocked in the game to train on targets or to try one of the several challenges that they offer. If you're old enough to remember the VR mission extension of the first Metal Gear Solid, you might expect a lot of them, like 300, but it's not going to be like that. We're not in 1999 anymore, and as I said, the number of challenges you'll see will depend on the weapons that you have unlocked. So if you start a new game, I'm guessing you won't have a lot of challenges in the beginning, but more will be added as you progress into the story. The thing is, after 70 hours on the original game, I transferred my save so I wouldn't have to start over. Counting the new challenges I unlocked when getting the new weapons from the Director's Cut edition, I had about 28 challenges to complete. Maybe there's a couple more, maybe a bit more than that. I think I may be missing one or two weapons in Sam's private room, but I doubt you can expect more than 30-something challenges total. It's not a really difficult mode in general. It's not difficult to get the the A or S ranks at the first try, or second or third, really, if you're really careful and you play well enough. But yeah, it's rather fun because you can use the weapons, the lethal weapons, without having to fear the consequences of your actions on the world and your character. If you know anything about Death Stranding, you'll understand why I say that. Now, that being said, I don't think I would have spent a long time playing this mode unless if I didn't have to review it. So some people will probably find it fun and try to do the ranked challenges also online. But for me, it was just a nice moment spent, and then I just moved on. So I'll leave you with a few more extracts so you can see what it's about. Obviously, I'm not showing everything. and you can get a pretty good idea of what you can expect from this mode. Now, the big surprise, if you were anything like me, when Death Stranding Director's Cut was announced, was to see that they wanted to add races. Now, there's one thing in the gameplay that I think most people, if not everyone, said was not really good or was not good at all. It's the vehicles and the physics engine. And yeah, sure, it was difficult to make it work with such rough terrain. At the same time, when you decide to make players to give them bikes and trucks that they can use everywhere and not just on the roads that they have built, well, yeah, it should work, and clearly it just did not. Now, I'm saying this with all the love I have for the game, really. So please, yeah, put away the spikes and everything. Don't get angry at me or anything. It's really the driving was not good in the game. It was a real shame because the bikes and everything, man, they looked really cool. And after the introduction of the game, all I wanted to do was just to drive one of those, and I was really disappointed at the time. Now the fun in the game is not in the driving; it's in the walking, it's in the hiking. That's the great part. So that was very odd to think of adding races. Now, before you can do that, you're first going to need to find the place where you can build the track. It's one spot on the second map, so which means if you start from the beginning, you won't be able to do it right away. Now, when you do find the place, you have to build it, which means you need the resources, you need the metal and all the things you need, which will take time to collect if it's a new game, I guess. I had some resources left, so I was it was pretty quick for me to build. Now, problem is there's only the one track, and it's a bit short in a way. I mean, there are different sorts of races on the track. There's a long and short version, if you will, and then there's reverse, but it's not much. And well, yeah, unsurprisingly, the driving is not satisfying at all. I mean, with a truck, you basically don't have to do anything but to steer. Bikes are very slow, and the new car, which is probably more sporty, it goes faster than the others, but it's still not very satisfying to drive. So, yeah, it's not a disappointment because it was to be expected. I'm not too sure what they wanted to do with this mode. But even if there are ranked, because it's time trial, okay, you're not going to face other opponents, whether AI or players. It'll always be just time. You run against time. So, yeah, I don't believe that you're going to spend a lot of time playing this mode. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but as for me, yeah, I did try it. Tried a few races and then just said it's clearly not for me, and it has nothing to do in Death Stranding. Even in the game world, it feels out of place. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about briefly are the new delivery missions that were already available on PC. They are related to other games. For example, when the Windows version was released, it featured Half-Life 2 missions with goodies you could get when completing them. So I'm not going to say much about them because you probably already know what they're about. But in case you didn't know, Death Stranding also dared to add a crossover between Death Stranding, and Cyberpunk 2077, adding some narrative to the mix via emails that you get. So you're not going to get cutscenes or anything. And yeah, it's not incredible. I mean, it's basically delivery missions, but facing human enemies. But yeah, it was pleasant. I would say I had a good time. But it's also true that I had a big break without playing the game, so it might have helped in a way. Completing those missions will grant you new equipment. It's mainly cosmetic, but you'll also be able to upgrade your compass that could help you in future missions. Now, the new content I was really expecting, I had high hopes, is actually the one we saw in the first reveal video of the director's cut, which is called The Factory. This new area that we were promised would be the possibility for us to try new things. And well, yeah, I can see the wink at Metal Gear Solid, and it's funny. But the thing is, after playing this section, I realized that, well, pretty much everything we saw in the video, I mean, that's it. That's what the factory is. First time you have to go there, you're asked to just find the place and get something which is locked outside in a container, and then you have to go back to finish to complete the delivery. Because the door is locked anyway, so there's no way in. But well, yeah, luckily enough, when you get to the district center, they tell you that they found a way to open the door. So there you are, walking back there, and discovering a few rooms with enemies that you can take down stealthily without any real problem. It's really easy. You can go guns blazing, I guess, but I did it, the Metal Gear way, and it was pretty simple. It's not a very big area anyway. And then you get another item that you need to bring back because there's another locked door. And what do you know when you go back to the district center? They tell you that they have found a way to unlock that door. So, well, there you go again. You go back. So, it started to get old, but, at that point I was thinking, okay, but now I'm going to dive into this place and I'm going to find a lot of fun things to do. But the thing is, then it's the passes that we saw in the video, the very Metal Gear Solid, and it was very difficult, if not impossible, for me to get rid of all the enemies and stay unnoticed. So at the end, I managed to take down everyone with my non-lethal guns. And that was it. That was it. Some information about one of the main characters of the story, a little backstory, if you will. But that was all there was. And I didn't play. I played the Cyberpunk missions more than I did play the factory, and so it was a huge disappointment for me. And what can I say other than I really don't think it's an addition that is worth your while. Other things have been added to make deliveries easier, so I'm not going to make the whole list. I might forget some of it, some of the new content, but I wanted to evoke. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to spoil anything in case some of you guys have not played the game, who have not seen everything in the game. You can replay the some of the sequences that are not in the delivery gameplay part of the game, so the boss fights and everything. And I think it's not something I'm interested in, but I think it's a way to be able to replay those important moments of the story without having to start over, which I guess is a good thing. Now, there are also new gadgets, making the game, like I said, a lot easier in a way. I'm not too sure it was a good idea, but you can build those structures that will allow you to throw your the things you have to deliver, so you cannot actually aim at the goal you have, but you can manage to avoid some areas that are maybe more difficult to cross on foot with a heavy load. And yeah, sure, you can use them, but I don't think it's very interesting. I don't believe it's really fun either. So just do what you think is good for you. Now there are also let's say there's the bot that can not only carry you around like the horse in Red Dead Redemption, and you just have if you have the items you're supposed to deliver, if you have them on you, you can simply ask the bot to take you there, and you don't even have to do anything. So it's like autopilot, like in RDR2, basically with a horse. You can also send them on deliver missions on their own. I guess when you've played a lot like me, it can be helpful. But then why would you play if you don't want to do all the hiking anyway? So it's again something that I don't think was necessary. Last but not least, you can you can build structures allowing you to jump with the bike. And well, no, it's not fun. It doesn't sound fun when you know the physics engine, and it's not. So I guess that all in all the new content, it could probably take a few minutes of your time just to discover it, but it's not going to be the reason why you're going to be playing Death Stranding in the end. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking that I've hated every single second I spent on this Director's Cut edition. And it's not true. I think I should be clear. I love the original game. I think it's a great game. I love the hiking. I love to get lost. I love to climb up a mountain, hoping to see my objective and realize there's another mountain to climb. Realizing I'm going to make a detour to reach my objective because it's not going to be possible, and this is just a great vision that I fully embraced back when it was released. Now, that being said, as you probably understood, and I warned you in the beginning, I don't believe that the content that they added is good enough to make you want to go back to the game if you have already completed it. If you really don't know Death Stranding, you've never played it, you've never dared to try, just go for it. I mean, it's the most complete edition out there. The game looks great. It plays very well. The 60 FPS is amazing. And so I'm pretty sure you're going to have a great time, unless, again, you mind all the hiking and stuff that, well, a lot of people didn't like about the original game anyway. But, I mean, 2 years after its original release, I guess it's safe to say that you probably know exactly where you are, and that if you haven't played it, it cannot be because you didn't want to, but maybe you couldn't. So now here's your chance. Now for the others, if you're anything like me, if you've already spent more than 70 hours on the original game, I don't think there's anything to find in this new edition other than the pleasure to go back into this world. Now, if you already own the game and you still have it, it's just €10 and $10 to get access to the director's cut, so it's not too much. So I can't decide for you. I'm just telling you that, and I hope I showed you that the content is just to be taken as bonuses, but not as a real director's cut edition, which is basically why probably Kojima said he was not too happy with the term, basically. So I think that's it for me. I'm going to leave you now. Thank you for watching. I know it was a long video and probably not the best I've made, but I'm on a tight schedule, so I hope you're going to spend an awesome day now that you're done with me, and I'll see you very soon on Gamerside.